Hello everybody and happy July! I'm so excited to share this month's journaling spread with you all. It's really colourful, it's very floral and it's just a lot of fun. This is a lot of fun to draw. We'll be mainly using brush pens and I'll add all the links in the description so you can have a look. So let's just do a bit of planning together, start the month on a creative note and just have fun with it. So let's get started. So let's just run through all of the materials. I'll be using this Tombow fine tip brush pen for calligraphy. I love this pen so much. I use this for my lettering all the time. We'll also need a bit of a washi tape or any other round object that's not too big. So I will use that washi tape. A pencil will be handy, maybe a ruler as well. And I always love having some neutrals. So maybe find some neutral brush pens if you have any. And we'll also need a fine tip pen, so I'll use this one and you can find a link for this. So it's a really cost-effective pen, this one. I quite like it. We'll also need some different brush pen colors, or you can also use Crayola pens, of course. You don't necessarily have to use brush pens. So some greens will be lovely. Also, if you can find like different tones of oranges and purple, so I've got some yellow, like darker yellow, orange, and some like different purple or like pink shades as well. Those will be really nice. And I think that's everything. So make sure you have your notebook so you can create like a nice layout. So you want to have 2 pages, and I love using a little clip to just secure my page to keep it in place. And let's just begin by lettering Hello July. So I'm starting with the letter H. I did start the word with a nice little tail, you can see, so it's nice and thin. There's like a nice and thin entry stroke. I'm doing the word hello and also extending the last stroke of the letter. So my pen is fairly new, so I need to go back and kind of correct a few transition points because the pen is a bit stiff to begin with, but the more you letter with it, the better it'll get. So I'm doing the word July and I'm making sure that I kind of balance both words, so they do want to look as if they have the same center line. And I'm going to add a little flourish at the end of the letter Y, and I think it just looks beautiful. It definitely adds a bit of a style to it. So there we go. Now we're going to start drawing some flowers. So I've picked up this orange pen and I'm going to do some little circles, like a little cluster of circles, and you can position them in like a triangle shape like this. So 2 on the sides and 1 at the top. And I'm now picking up this beautiful purple pen and I'm going to start drawing these lines around each of these little circles. So the circle is the center of the flower and we're going to draw little clusters of lines, and I highly recommend to position them into clusters. So I think I'm doing like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at a time from like different angles. So again, I've done 1 cluster, now I'm doing another cluster and the 4th cluster and the 5th cluster. So if you do them in clusters, it's just easier to make it look a bit more round, and you can always fill in any gaps that have formed, you can always adjust. But if you just do them all at once, it can be really hard to make it look as if they are round. So this flower is beautiful. I imagine that these could be little aster flowers. If you know what I'm talking about, they're normally like purple flowers with a beautiful orange or yellow center, and this is what I'm trying to draw and illustrate here. So I'm going to also attach a few little stems, so you can just naturally extend the little stalks from each of the flower head. And I'm also doing these little leaves, so I'm trying to play with pressure here. So I extend a little line and then I start going down from the top, forming these leaf shapes. So I'm doing the top, the sides, and I'm doing it fairly quickly and all in a continuous line. So I do want this to look quite natural. I don't mind if it's not like 100% accurate. It can definitely be quite messy looking. I think that's the whole point. I want it to look as if it's a wildflower, and it just really helps when you have those sort of like jagged movements. They're not too smooth. The outline isn't as solid. You know, you can definitely add a bit more movement by being a bit more careless with it, I think I'm trying to say. There we go. So I'm going to do another set here at the top. So I've done 4 little circles this time. So I've used a slightly different color pen. So this time it's a bit more yellow, and it's really nice to vary the color for each set, I think. Or even within the same set, you can have like different oranges or different yellows. This will look really, really good. And I'm using a slightly more of a pinkish pen this time, and I think it's beautiful. So again, I'm just working in clusters, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm basically going to fill in the page with lots and lots of these set of flowers. They'll all be the same pretty much. You know, you can vary the size and the color of them. So some of them can have like a different color middle, like the center, and a different color petals. So it's really up to you. Just play with color, play with different shades of green as well if you can. There we go. So I might speed this step up, but just try to really immerse into this and just get creative. It's really therapeutic, I think, just kind of doing a similar thing over and over, but just picking a different color. So yeah, try to relax into it and see how it goes. Feel free to also add some individual branches kind of in between these flowers. These will kind of fill in the gaps, and they'll also look really, really beautiful. And I'm using 2 different types of green. So this one's a bit more turquoise looking, a bit more bluish. It's got a bit of blue in it. And I think 2 of these together just look really, really good. It's really nice to try and show different shades of the same color within the same composition. And I might just squeeze in the last set of flowers because I just feel like there's a little gap there. So I'm going to do that, and I think that'll be the finished cover page for this month. I really love its look, and remember, you can always go back and adjust. You can make the circles in the middle a bit bigger, or you can fill in any gaps in between your lines. So yours will probably look a bit different, but I hope you're enjoying the process. So feel free to pause the video and finish your page on the left before we start working with the actual spread of the month. So I love just lettering month at a glance and doing like a little calendar layout at the bottom of it every single month. So that's what I'm doing, but this month I'm trying to merge all of the words together. So notice how I'm doing brush calligraphy, and I'm applying pressure on downstrokes and going thinner on upstrokes, but I'm also merging, like connecting all of the words with one longer line. So every time you finish your word, try to go up and to the side a little bit. So it's quite a subtle change between going upwards and then going to the side. And this way you can make this like continuous horizontal line throughout your phrase, and it looks really good. And when you finish the phrase, try to also extend your exit stroke. Alright, so now I'm just going to draw like a straight line underneath, and this is where I'm going to write Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and that's going to be the top of the little calendar. And whilst I'm using a ruler, I'll also just draw a little line in pencil here on the side. So depending on how much room you've got left on the right, try to draw a little vertical line like this. So that's going to be for like writing your daily tasks, or if you need to remember something on a specific day, so you can just do a little note there. So we're going to fill that in shortly, but let's just start by filling in this little calendar. So the 1st of July falls on Monday this month, and yeah, it's quite straightforward from there. So we're just doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then doing another line until we reach 31. And try to, I mean, I didn't really do it, but try to position with your numbers like perfectly, not perfectly, but you know, quite beneath one another, so they do appear quite balanced. I think I got a bit carried away, and my first row is definitely a bit slanted, which is fine, you know. But so we finished with the 30, with the number 31, and it falls on Wednesday, so there we go. Now you can also do this right side of the page where we're just going to do all the numbers of the month again, and try to keep them quite small because there isn't probably that much space depending on the size of your page. So when you get to 15, you probably want to be kind of like halfway through, and you can adjust the size of your numbers afterwards to make sure you finish at the bottom of the page. And because my numbers were a little bit misbalanced, I'm just going to fill in that gap and even it out a little bit by drawing something. So this is a really, really good trick. I love doing it. So I've just added this little branch. So just really, really simple leafy branch using my fine tip pen. So I'm just starting with a stalk, with like a little stem, and then adding on leaves. And I'm just doing like an outline of the leaf and then doing like a line in the middle. And notice how I'm doing it in one continuous movement. It's quite nice and therapeutic to do it that way, I think. Just adds a bit of rhythm to your drawing as well. Lovely, so there we go. So we can also just grab some sort of a neutral pen. I think I'm going to use this lovely orange, like a pale orange color. And we're just going to do like a highlight, so just to make it a bit more interesting and visually appealing, we can just do like a thick horizontal line. And this is just to show that you can write something there, and when you write, there's going to be like a nice little background color, which I think is nice. So this is definitely for like some short reminders throughout the month. Right, let's carry on. So now we are going to draw 2 circles. So one's going to be positioned more on the left. So I'm just using my washi tape roll to draw a perfect circle. So we just want to have like a nice outline of a circle. And then we're going to do another one slightly to the right. So just again, depending on your ongoing position, this might look a bit different. So try to find a nice position for it, and it should look something like that. So now we're going to grab our fine liner pen, and we're going to start drawing some lovely florals around this outline. So you can erase your pencil line a bit later, so it won't be visible, don't worry. But I'm just going to start here by drawing this little outline of a flower. So it's definitely just like a wavy kind of a line. And then I'm going to do like a smaller circle in the middle. Let's do it together. And I'm just adding this little detail, imagining there are some more petals on the inside. So really simplistic. Now I'm starting to draw some really simple flowers again by drawing a little thin stalk, and then just adding on this little flower head that's sort of like a tulip. Imagine you're drawing like a little tulip shape, so like a little half circle and then like a zigzag line at the top. You can also add some little leaves or even just like little lines to show little spikes on the flowers. That can look really, really good. There we go, so that's a good start. Now we're gonna keep adding on, so let's just add on some bigger leaves around this bigger flower. See what you can fit in there. So we're working around this circle. You can do in any you can go in any direction you want. So try to show that line from time to time. Try to go over that pencil line with your pen just so you keep within that circle. I've done a little other branch of leaves at the bottom, and now I might go down this way, and you could add some more leaves before we draw a few more flowers. So it's nice to balance the flowers. If you do one big one, it's nice to have like 2 or even a few more, just so they kind of reference each other and it looks better. So I love positioning a bigger one on one side and then maybe doing a cluster of 2 or 3 on the other side. And I'm just adding these bigger leaves again, just to fill in the space a bit more. So we're not colouring anything in right now, so you can leave it as it is. You can just use your black pen and leave it as it is. I think it's a really pretty look, but you can also go over your drawings with a brush pen and do a bit of colouring, which is something we'll actually do at the end. I'll show you what it looks like if you colour it in. Okay, so I've also just added some more small flowers at the bottom there, making sure that the centers of the flower are quite big, and just see if it needs anything else. I quite like that it's fairly simplistic. I think I'm going to leave it there. So inside this little circle, we're going to write goals, and this is the space for you to write your monthly goals. So try to keep them short, just be quite specific, maybe do 3, and just keep them quite short, so be really specific on what it is that you want to achieve this month. It could be a short sentence, or it could just be 1 word or 2 words. So yes, just see what feels right for you. So let's draw another flower. So I've started this one by drawing 4 or 5 petals in the middle and colouring in the centre, and then I'm just building on. So I'm trying to find the space in between the initial petals and just building up. So as you go towards the outer part of the flower, try to make your petals bigger and bigger. So this is a really nice style. I do like this little flower. Now I'm going to do a few that have like a little outline. So I'm just doing like a little outline. It doesn't have to be circular. Mine's quite like natural looking. And then I'm just doing a few lines in the middle of each of those circles or little blobs. So they literally look like little blobs. Now I'm also going to draw some more leaves. So I'm going to do this different type of leaf where I extend a little stem and then draw a leaf at the end of it. So there's also like a bit more of a line before the leaf starts. Okay, so let's carry on. Let's just do a few more leaves, and I love adding these little waved lines, so they're like little question marks. So if you think of sweet peas, for example, they always have those like little spiral looking little extensions from the stem. You know, they're really light and delicate and they look really pretty. Okay, let's do some more flowers at the bottom maybe. So try to get creative here as well. These are just a few examples. You can try to make them different, try to make them your own, but it's always nice to have a bit of reference, I think. So there we go. So keep going. Try to finish this little wreath as well. See if your first one needs anything else. And we can also write something on the inside of this one. So let's write the word focus in this one, and again 3 little bullet points. So you can add 3 things you want to focus on more this month. So yeah, I think keeping it short makes journaling feel a bit more doable, because it can be a bit overwhelming when you have to like fill in lots of like spaces, lots of prompts. So we're definitely keeping it short. So as you draw, try to think about the month ahead. See what it is that you want to focus on, see what it is that you want to achieve. I think it's quite a lovely process. So I'm just going to tuck these little waved shapes a bit more so they look a bit more spirally. And there we go. Lovely. So we have 2 beautiful wreaths. Lovely. So one last thing we're going to add in is a sleep tracker, which I think is something amazing. So we're only going to do this for 10 days, but you can also just write more days and like carry on. I just don't have that much space, but we're just going to letter the word sleep. And I'm now using a fine liner to do a few stars, a few crescent moon shapes, or you can really get creative here, a few little diamond shapes with little dots around them. Just try to think of a starry sky and try to draw a few little elements. So there we go. So I'm going to leave it there, I think. Lovely. So now I'm just going to do numbers. So numbers. So I'm going to do numbers from 1 to 10. And it's best if you do this like consistently on consecutive days, so you don't like do it today and then do it in 2 weeks. So you definitely want to do it for 10 days and see and just check how you're sleeping. Really, I think this is really interesting. And obviously I don't really sleep well these days because I have kids, so I think a lot of mine will be looking quite sad, as my sleep is quite broken at the moment, which, you know, is fine and not forever, but there we go. But who knows? Who knows? There might be a good day. So yeah, do the little smiley faces. So do a happy one, do a neutral one, and do a sad one. And then just to show you an example. So for example, on the 1st of July, so today, I have, let's say, I have a bad night's sleep, and then tomorrow I have a good night's sleep. And then you can connect the dots and you can see literally like a little diagram of your sleep, which I think is a lot of fun. So yeah, give it a go. It's just nice because we never think about it, I think, enough, because if you just have it written down like this, it'll be really, really interesting to see like a little overview of it. So yeah, give it a go. Now I'm just erasing the pencil lines, and you can also highlight your little mandible gland. It does smudge sometimes. It depends on your fine liner. I think mine is very smudgeable, so I'm trying to be really careful, you know. I'm not going to highlight too many things. So but yeah, I've done the days. So there we are, and this is pretty much the end result. So you can color in your reeds. So just take your brush pens, and as I said, it might smudge, so be careful. Just pick your favorite colors and really carefully color in the flowers and the leaves. So try not to press down too hard, or also try not to like do a few layers of your coloring, because this will definitely smudge your pen probably. So really gently. I'm not being too careful. I don't mind if there are a few white spots left. I actually think it makes it look a bit nicer, like there could be like little natural highlights. So yeah, see if you can relax into it, play with color, just enjoy the process and take your time here. I might speed this up again. Everyone works at a different pace. You might need a bit more time or less time. So that would be the last step really. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you've got a gold pen, this will also look really, really beautiful, by the way. But yes, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you so much for journaling with me, for doing this with me. I would love to see your result. Feel free to share and tag me on Instagram.